technology's been really weird the last couple of days. I think Mercury retrograde is not helping the situation. There we go. Hopefully it's working. I'm gonna light my sage.
Oh, me too.
How have you guys been handling all these energy changes?
Staying real close to home.
I think you'll become an expert surfer of the waves and always bring it. For me, it's always about.
It's more like parasailing at this point, you know. Yeah.
Yes, and I think there's a lot of things coming with, you know, the what is it? The Atlas.
That started some shit. It really did.
Yes.
Energetically, it definitely kicked things up a notch.
Yes, it's amplifying quite a lot, but for me, it's always in those moments where it's super hard. Can you still find that little window to bring the heart energy?
Yeah.
And I've been using a lot of binaural music or frequency, you know, solfeggio frequency music in the background. And it actually really helps to move things very fast in the body. Mm-hmm. I don't know what have you been doing, you guys? What's your tricks?
I'm trying to stay grounded right now. It's not easy to do when all day long your energies feel like you're just getting like, whoop, you know. But trying to stay grounded and focusing on work. I'm just throwing myself into work, which is a bit much right now. There's a lot going on energetically, and a lot of people have a lot of triggers, a lot of things being released. So it's a good time to start. It's like doing the spring cleaning for the spirit style, you know?
Mm-hmm. So. I start crafting. This is crafting season, and that keeps me so grounded. Like I started working on my front door garland, you know, my wreath, and just like doing it, saving up the like toilet paper rolls and painting them with the kids and making little things out of them. And like, I forgot how much crafting actually is just so grounding. I'm like, I just need peace. Yeah, I have a full list of things to do, but right now for the next 2 hours, this is what I'm doing. It brings me so much peace. Yeah.
You know, it makes me remember about that joy of innocence from within. And I think the global energy at this stage, and we're having the new moon in Scorpio tomorrow, it's really about right now, what is the TLC for all our different bodies.
Yes.
You know, for the physical, for the emotional and mental and the spiritual one. Because I've been watching myself, like not all the morning, I cannot do anything. Like I wake up, I get my electrolyte water, and then I start to do a bit of Tai Chi movement, but my style, it's not pretty, it's Angel style. And then I'm like, oh, there's a nice music that is central. So I start to play with my sensuality. And you know, we're Scorpio season, so let's dive and let's get that very warm, beauty, sensual goddess inside me.
Yes.
And crafting, yes, you know, crafting, drawing, all of that. So I think it's quite important to carve a bit of, for the ones who can have the time, really to go back to some basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be with the children too, you know, kids love this time of year. This is really what this time of year is for the kids. So doing that is lovely that you're embracing that with the kids, Erin.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's more relaxing to do it without the children or with the children. Yeah, like, I started doing it and I was like, oh, I should do this with the kids. So I put it away and then I did it with the kids. I was like, oh. He's like, you can do it. You don't need my help. You can do the thing. Like, just like, I just want to create. Yeah,
well, this is like feminine energy
that is in your 40s. You know,
that's the creation energy right now that we're all embracing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like we're entering the womb and it's like velvety and you're like, oof, what feels delicious to do right now.
Absolutely. Like a warm pot of soup.
Well, a lot of us are going internal because a lot of stuff is coming up to be healed right now. So focusing on introspection, all those things right now, I think is really important because there's a lot of stuff coming to the surface right now to be healed. a lot of emotions. And you're like, why do I feel this way? And you're like, I don't know. Like there's just so much coming up and to be released. So self-care is definitely of peak importance right now.
Yes. So
So I was self-care, do you like have a special like daily thing that you do for self-care, and then like on the weekends? I guess I'll ask both of you, but Angelique, what do you do for when you know you need self-care?
Oh, at the moment, I've been going back to basics, like hydrating my feet, hydrating my skin. It's like the morning routine with the body, even like the gua sha and the roller, the crystal roller, just to focus on the touch on your skin. Around your eyebrow, we don't realize how much tension we have. So even just try to do that now, like on yourself.
I have my little roller. I keep it everywhere. Every time I travel with this thing.
Yes. And like really doing that.
Cold too. When it's cold, it is so
I like to pinch.
Yes, exactly. So like really things that are really
tapping is also good. Some people tap with 3, some just do 1.
I do the sauna like 4 times a week, and when I'm in the sauna, I use the oils that are in my skin, and because you don't want to do it when you don't have oil, because you have friction, you pull on your skin, right?
Yeah.
So I do it first with my nails, and I do the whole gua sha. I do it first with my nails, and then I do it just gently with my hands.
Yeah. Because you trap stress in places of the body you wouldn't normally expect.
And because it's a bit reflexology, it will have an impact on the rest of the body. And the other thing, and I don't know if that has happened to you, Lara and Erin, is with the strength of the energy right now, my body and I won't say muscles, but there's tightness in my body, and I need to stretch, like really open and very soft, gentle stretches regularly along the day to make sure that
I stretched myself so hard last night I nearly blacked out. I couldn't see for 3 seconds. You ever do that when you're like, you do a big stretch and all of a sudden everything goes dark in your eyes? You're like, you can't see.
Oh, yeah, you cut off your blood circulation. Maybe be gentle with yourself, Laura.
Lara, I'm just stretching and standing up. That's how much I don't get up and do things enough during the day.
Yes.
So,
when you get into
that gentle movement you were talking about in the morning is really important, especially
morning, evening, so that you allow the energy to just flow and awaken in the body. Some people will do soft or yin tai chi or qigong. You don't have even to know a methodology, but it's what feels good, where intuitively starting to touch where your body needs to be touched, where you feel a tightness, and then just gently listen to the wisdom of your own body on the movement it wants to do to stretch that. For example, me, I've got things in my here at the moment and in the back, so just rolling the back for a few moments, because it helps. The intensity of the energy is so strong that we need to give the greatest help to our bodies. I don't know. I mean, what do you do to help?
Well, you were bringing up 3i Atlas, and I think that the collective energy that we're getting from it is activate.
Yes.
So whatever frequency you're at, that's going to activate further, right? So so every day I'm trying to not yell at my kids because they drive me crazy, just because they're 4 and 5 years old, and and they're constantly in this place of expressing their boundaries with each other and with myself, and pushing all boundaries are up, right? Mercury retrograde, that's kind of common. But I'm noticing every experience that I have is amplified. So I'm being much more cautious with myself, and the energy that I'm holding in my body, trusting that everything right now is amplified because of the consciousness of activation happening on the planet. We're all being amplified. So wherever you're at, it's going to be amplified. So be careful.
And it's I was listening to Pam Gregory and Richard Rudd. They did a show together not many days ago. And so they were both bringing their perspective from, Gene Keys human design and astrology, and, trying to understand about AI Atlas, about 2026 and 2027. And even on an astrological point of view, 2027 is a big thing. And it's as if it's like everything is going to get amplified, up to that time. So when we think, oh, let's go back to before and, normal, there's no normal anymore. That's why, our TLC routines are super important on all the levels. I think this is what we're learning right now. It's like, okay, I don't know.
Learning how to make sure that we get everything that we need and that we're not, trying to pour from an empty cup.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise it will break, you will break. And yeah, you can see, with the kids, they're the first ones where you're like, oh, I can't anymore.
They're the canaries, like, oh, the children are popping off. Okay, everybody, let's just, yeah. They're so real. They don't have filters. They don't have mechanisms of masking, that we have. You're like, oh, I feel a little irritated. Okay, I better just hold it in, but kids are irritated. They're outwardly irritated, Yeah.
So I think for the most part, people are releasing stuff that no longer serves them right now, which is a good thing. But when you have strong attachments to some of those things that we're not, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, I don't want this to go away completely. It's like hoarding emotions. Like, this stuff doesn't serve you. It needs to go. Like, release it, let it go. And yet so many people are still dwelling on the past right now. That's the most common thing that the guides are advising, is just to let go of the past.
Yes. And also the other thing that I've been noticing, around me lately, and of course myself in the mix, in the front seat with my own self, it's also when we are healers and therapists, it's we have a certain posture. Actually, we do have a posture. And even dropping that because we're like not doing okay, this is where we're being asked, because we're being asked to be real,
Yeah.
Like because it would be harder for us when something is not okay, when you need a support, when you're like actually judging yourself because we're having a behavior that would be judged as cold, bad, nasty, or that type of things, when we're like, oh, I should be the bigger one with the wisdom. Well, could you give it a little break too, and just could I give myself a break and just like, yeah, I'm fucking not doing okay today, and just be okay with that. I'm a bloody human. And
oh, I had one of those days Sunday where I was like, all humans get away from me.
Can I love myself when I am in that state, and can the other loves me?
Yeah.
When I'm in that state.
Honestly, the thing is, right, when you realize you're never alone, sometimes you actually want to be. I even sent my guides away. I was like, just everybody get away from me right now. Like, that's the mood I was in Sunday. Like, overexposure, too much at once. And on days when that overwhelming, it's best to go inside. That's what I did anyways. I went internal and just wanted to focus and connect to my higher self and say, am I happy with what I'm doing? Am I happy where I am? Am I just kind of doing like an assessment, as to what I'm doing and where I'm putting my energy and my focus. And it helped me to shift perspectives a little bit and to get rid of some of the stuff that doesn't serve me right now. And it's funny because last night I pulled a card. I was thinking, okay, what card do I need? And the guidance gave me a card. It's called Pruning, and telling me about the things I need to prune from my life in order to, because like if you look at a plant, right, you have to sometimes trim bits of it to bring it back to full health.
Yeah.
And that's literally the message this weekend that I got, was that I need to make better priorities with my time and to put better focus into certain areas and to less into others, and to really reassess where my priorities are.
I think that's a common factor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this time of year in general, but I'm experiencing that as well. Feeling myself going like, I'm just going to come inside and just be here.
Yeah.
You know, and like whether it's the time of the year or all of the freaking comets or the government or like whatever else is happening, it's just like, you know what? It's just, I feel better if I just stay close to home, you know?
Yes, exactly. I mean, you know, same, exactly same. That's why I've been having the greatest time dancing in my living room. I think I haven't left my home since 3 days. Literally, I'm in a cave. I'm hermiting.
It's not a bad place to hermit, though. I mean, come on. Yeah.
And she sent me a voice note yesterday, and I heard the bells in the background, and I was like,
oh, I love that. I love that. I was with Jill the other day. You remember Jill, Angelique, she was with our group, and you all had a beautiful ceremony that the rest of us were too tired to stay around for. And so she was sharing it with me, you know, and I was thinking of it last night, and I could feel the tunnel. I could feel just by tuning in to your home and to what you hold there. And I'm just like, gosh, I cannot imagine being the keeper of the tunnels, you know. You've probably talked about it more here, but can you speak to what that's like to be the keeper of the cave?
Well, she's in a very special location, for the record. So those of you who don't know, Angelique is in a place called Rennes-le-Château in France, and this is a very sacred location. This is the home of the Mary Magdalene Church. Many people know about it from the Da Vinci Code and all of that stuff, but this is a very sacred place that Angelique lives, and she has probably one of the most important homes in the entire village, because there is an open access tunnel there, and it's just, there's all kinds of energies that come and move through this home that you are. So you are in effect a protector, a guardian of a sacred space.
Yes, there is that. You know, it's before I said yes to the house, I know that was going to happen, and that's why it was hard for me to take the decision in a way. But then you know that there's a bit of destiny part in it. So it was just the timing to say yes. And I would say I would say that it's probably true for every vortex that someone lives on. Things outside are amplified, but this is even more amplified.
Yeah.
So you want to have a special training in surfing, come here. There's 2 bedrooms that you can rent. And then you can get an expert level in surfing energies. So yes, I'm very happy because in a way it's very nurturing. But when on a collective level things are getting mad, it's amplified even more. So it's actually not so easy when that happens to hold all of it. So sometimes, I really need.
It's very intense energies.
It's very intense energy. And so that's why for me, sometimes I've got, like outbursts of loneliness, like yesterday night, and I was just crying. And then I was just like, okay, what is the part of myself? What is the part of the collective in it? What can I do to help still be in it without judging it? And then what can I do to help myself move through it, at the same time? So yes, it's I can't say it's easy every day. And it's that thing that you love it so much that there's still a part that the hate sometimes is as proportional. And you're like,
and then the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference.
Indifference, yes, that's true. I can see that. Yes.
Love are often linked to very emotional, very powerful emotions. Yes, but indifference is the opposite of that, because you feel nothing.
Yes. It's very true. Sometimes I do that too. So it's really, to go back to appreciation, after that.
And I love what Erin also said about being in a certain locations for a reason. Because the guides, the other day I did a property clearing, and this property was rather dark. And they said, well, it's a good thing we put such a powerful light worker in such a dark place. And I said, usually that's how it works, isn't it? And they said, that's always how it works. You have a place that you have been put for a reason. And if you could see the way it works, we're all spread out in a grid.
Yes.
And like these grids, like we're set in certain areas and we may feel quite alone because we feel isolated. We're the only one, we're the only beacon of light in that spot sometimes, you know? And that is to anchor that high frequency. Because if we were all in one location, it wouldn't be having the effect worldwide that it does.
No.
Well, here's the thing though. I live in Boulder County where there's so many of us. Right? Like
you might need more.
They're saturated with healers and psychics and you know, all kinds of people. But I in hearing you, I hear that especially even in a more localized way. Right.
Look what you have under your feet, Erin.
You literally. First of all, if you consider like where I live, so we have iron mountains, like giant magnetic flat irons, right? And the majority of Colorado and the Rocky Mountains is quartz. So everything here is amplified, right? And for the last two houses, this house and the house before, I've been living at a crossroads. And that was like Hecate came to me because I was not protected, right? And so that my ancient connection to her just showed up and I didn't ask for it. I wasn't looking for it. But it's like, oh, I'm put here at these houses, at these particular locations. And then on Halloween, I learned that some of my neighbors are having their own witchy awakening. And I'm like, did you know that I live right there? You know, like, okay, all right. You know,
when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right?
What's that?
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'm supposed to be anybody's teacher here, but I'm like, okay, I'm definitely anchoring something in this locale, in this grid.
You know, you can create a circle, just like a local circle. I know we started to do that here with some, you know, women who live in different villages, but just us, you know, like linking back together because we've been giving a lot, you know, during all the season to everybody traveling here. I know it's like, okay, let's TLC ourselves in that circle. And even, you know, even within Rennes Chateau, I'm like bringing, so here I know I'm saying it's women, but I want it to be more open to everybody who actually has, you know, an open channel in a way. And so to bring people together to help with the harmonization of an area so that then probably we won't feel so alone, you know, to have to carry everything. Then it's like more people carrying it all together. And I think this is what seems to...
Well, not to mention that right next door there is a Mexican bruja, you know, who's a performer and owns her own theater and does rituals, and I come over and drum for her rituals. And like the first thing we moved in here in the first summer, I saw her, she had a little gathering of women, and I'm like, Alex, there's women in the backyard. You know, and I'm like, she's staging them. Like, you know, I was so excited, and now we're like the best of friends. And when I was gone for 2 weeks in France, she said she could feel it. She's like, I can feel it when you're not at home because the anchor is gone, you know? Yeah. We all find each other, you know, one way or another.
We certainly do. And I feel that we have found each other not only in this lifetime, but in several others. I don't think that this is the first time we've been introduced. And I think that a lot of this sisterhood coming back to, you know, assist each other in healing was part of the plan.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff that we're shedding in regards to trauma from past lives, inner child healing things, you know, and also programming, you know?
Programming, lineages. Yes.
Generational curses.
Yeah.
You know, something that because I've been a bit sometimes overwhelmed with, all the shadow work, to be fairly honest. And sometimes I just want to let myself, be, and I go back to that, 0 point. I just go in the vital energy and I'm like, okay, this is where I am at. And I know this is what's going on. Can I just have a rest? And usually something starts to shift, But yeah, it's I think it's been very, very strong, the past weeks. And a lot of people have been speaking about that witch wand or, the sisterhood wand. And me, I'm one of the first. I dislike the word sister because because I feel it's been abused, and someone comes and see me and don't know who I am and call me sister. And I'm like, you can become my sister as true sisterhood once we know each other and trust is established.
Right.
And I'm always itchy when I hear that word, because I feel there's a bit of bypassing, or so I don't know. It's but then when it's
familiarity.
Yes, when it's in its pure form, it's like actually really beautiful. And yes, it's, and I think
I'm feeling this a lot in regards to doing healing for the divine feminine, especially in regards to witch wounds, because we've been seeing so many women that are carrying trauma from other lives, and it's not even. Oftentimes, we found that you don't even have to be the one that went through it. You could have been your mother, your sister, your daughter, and that's carrying trauma on a whole new level that we don't even really take into consideration often. We think about the woman who suffered and was burned and in prison, but we don't think about the whole lineage of women who suffered after that.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true.
So I think that right now, the way that we come together in any way, shape, or form that you do it, whether it's in even just a crafting circle, or if you're coming together is make your own little coven, because they can't burn us anymore. We can have covens now. You can even promote your coven online. Nobody can do shit. So it is a nice time to be alive, so that way you can at least, embrace more of what it means to be feminine without having so much fear wrapped up in around it. And there is still some. You still get people being shunned. You still get people who are ostracized or treated weirdly at school events because they think that you're the weird mom that's doing witchcraft in the house when you're literally just saging your house or something. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
projection,
information and projection, yes. But at the same time, I think that people are more open to these ideas than they've ever been before.
Yes, I feel that. And I would say as well, I think when we speak about the witch wand, and some people who are having their awakening now, they will go, most probably through that. And it's going to be, pretty hard, because it's a part that they might want to hide, because the fear is going to be to lose the family, to lose the friends, to not being able to be actually fully yourself outside, having to operate as what society wants you to operate. And it's going to be, it might be quite hard. And, I was in that lot to be free to be yourself. Yeah. Because I know for me, I had to go through like my family not wanting to see me anymore. I know it's okay, but I had to leave the career and know, things have properly shifted. But it's like it can be soft, or it can be as painful. It's like a new birth, actually, with the contractions. And it can be ecstatic, or it can be, you need a few people to help you with a C-section. You can have all the range of experiences as you go through that, and we will go, and we are still going through it at different levels, because even when you start, my feel is when you start, people speak about 4D, 5D, 6D, even there's that type of thing that happens when you don't resonate with some of your old techniques that you're using too.
Yeah.
And you don't know how your inner gifts are going to evolve after. So you're in the in-between, and it's very uncomfortable in the way your inner senses and gifts are evolving. So yeah, you know, for example, psychic, you can tune into the now moment, but it's very hard, you know, for a lot of them now to see what's going to happen, you know, for a person in 6 months and 1 month, because the creative power of co-creation is getting so strong that timelines, you know, are shifting, you know, very fast.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's so valuable to hold this space. This is like one of my key memories is also being one of the persecutors, being a cardinal. And that was more of a recent discovery of mine.
You look totally badass as a cardinal, by the way. Like,
as you would you expect anything less? Thank you. No, but you know, because initially, like, because I've remembered so many lives of being persecuted, and initially I remember the first burn. You know, but I've had all of the different ways.
Well, that's usually how it works. Right? You know, you switch.
Well, we all have. Yeah. Right? We've all had, we can go to the extent of we're all one and we've all had every experience ever.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Closer to our spirits is this reality of like, let's also remember when we have persecuted other people, even in this life. Right? When we've judged our neighbor, we've, you know, done these things that we have to be in that place of not only forgiving those who've hurt us, but forgiving ourselves for hurting other people. Ouch. You know, and it still happens like on the daily. Like I sometimes will avoid conversations because I know I have to apologize in that conversation, you know, or whatever the thing is.
Because I feel like apologizing is often part of the taking blame too. So it depends on how you word it. It's important not to blame yourself for things that you did in other lifetimes when you were a completely different person, you know?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really ownership of self and taking responsibility for who and how we are, you know, and like how we can hurt people totally having no idea because they have their triggers that we know nothing about, right? And they're deciding to take something personally. We can say, oh gosh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Or it can be like, oh, that's interesting that happened to you. Right. Or that you had that experience when I was just being authentic. Right. There's like this thin line. And for me, as a very outgoing introvert, honestly, I am an extroverted introvert. And being a loudmouth and a Taurus with the Sag rising, I stick my foot in my mouth a lot. But I've begun in the past few years, to notice where, no, I'm being authentic. And if you're hurting because I said something that brought something up for you, I don't need to apologize for that. I'm going to hold the space of love so that you can process what was triggered. Right. So there's like this thin line of like, did I misstep? Did I say something consciously knowing that might be painful? Or did I just speak my truth and watch what happens? Right.
If it was fully healed, the trigger wouldn't have been there. So you are bringing them an opportunity. I know I trigger a lot of people. I do.
We trigger
without even meaning to, you know, just sharing a post last night that literally just said the Bible on the post. It was that one where like when you're talking about spiritual stuff and somebody mentions the Bible and you're just like,
well, you know, I triggered 2 billion people.
Shit, that triggered some people. You know, like it doesn't take much these days to trigger people, and that's because so many people are bottling shit up without working on it. They're storing all kinds of crap and they're not releasing it until it becomes a pressure cooker, until there's some little spark that makes it go.
You know? Well, I had a pressure cooker moment 2 weeks ago. It was absolutely uncomfortable as fuck.
What happened?
No, but it's like, you know, I have a pattern that, you know, has been coming up and, you know, really coming from insecurity, and survival mode. And at the moment when you've been doing a lot of work on yourself, you're down to the 20% nitty gritty, but the hardest one. And it's not a fabulous pattern. And I think mine was around possessiveness. Like, what is possessiveness in life? When you have a partner, or a position in a community, or all that type of things. And it was really on my own body. And feeling that the space wouldn't be old for you, or feeling that there's a new person coming, and then and it's hard for all of us, because it all goes down to the root of self-worth, confidence, finding your own voice, finding your own place. So in a way, it shows up as possessiveness, but in another way, it's the lack of safety of being, who you are, not trusting yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that can happen at any time. When you come in Rennes-le-Château here, you've got so many beautiful, women coming, very powerful. Then, you're like, okay, where am I at? There's always a bit of like scaling and so yes. And then I saw how that unique energy can stream through all different area of life.
Yeah.
And how can you feel more free out of that possessiveness? And it did happen with a friend, and it did happen during my Tantra Module 2 training. But that was in relationship to men, and I was like, wow, the full
how Tantra can be triggering for some.
Yeah, the full pattern is coming out, because of course you start working with different people, and you start seeing different bodies. And so, that whole thing, come out, and you're like, how can I hold myself when this big stuff is coming out? And, I can speak about my own pattern, because I think, it could be very helpful, not only for me, but, for people who listen. And, I have a bit of that shyness, I won't be frontal, and I won't ask people out to do something. And, between the module 1 and 2, there was a guy that I really kind of click with, but not on a romantic level. We just know that from an energetic level, we could help each other free a lot of things.
Yeah.
And in the module number 2, we're like, oh, we know each other, we know we're going to see each other in module number 2. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to ask him if, he wants to do a bit of exploration outside, in between the 2 modules. And when we arrived in module number 2, there was a beautiful, amazing, lady here who's been doing, those things for a long time, and who's more on the polyamorous side. And so, of course, I arrive here, I see that it's so much, of course, they're going to work together, and it's going to free him so much, from some of his own pattern. But then it left me, on the back burner, and I'm like, so where is my place here, right? And what was fascinating is the last day of the workshop, we were talking together, because both of us stayed an extra night, so that other lady and me. And she's like, you know what? You still should ask him, because each of us, we do hold, and that's what I was explaining as well, we hold different facets that are going to be helpful for each of us to, to actually,
I like that, different facets.
heal. And so in that instance, I was seeing this, the possessiveness, pattern coming up, like coming back to neutral in a way. But because there was this
when you isolated that feeling, you recognized it, and you were like, why is this even here? And then you just like let it go, release it.
And because then I asked him, I'm like, hey, I sent him a message and explaining what happened between the 2 modules, and like, would you still be open for us to explore? Because I feel, there's something that can happen that would be freeing for both of us. And he said yes. So just being able to have that space of conversation without being judged. And on the top, I have, big wound of rejection. So, it was just, the whole thing was in the mix. in those workshops, everything shows up in 4 days, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
it really does, because it's your calling for it to be healed, so it's going to rise to the surface. And sometimes it can be a little jarring when you feel these emotions.
And it might be we won't do anything together, but it was just the fact of being able to express it in a very kind and open manner between each of us, you know, which is what I found so freeing and so beautiful.
The fact that you were able to recognize it, though, when we recognize things that we need to heal within ourselves, that is a huge leap forward, because most of those things are unconscious until it's ready to be healed. You know, like we don't recognize that we even have stuff to work on until we're like, oh, that was a problem. I shouldn't have had that reaction.
Well, that experience of, comparing yourself to others, especially women, and the competitive nature, that it's automatic. We have to dismantle it ourselves. I feel like I'm constantly dismantling comparison within my
being. Be part of the programming, hey, but turning us
right?
against each other for this like dog eat dog kind of survival mode.
It's just automatic. It's automatic.
It's automatic, and the thing is, you know why? Before, some people were pointing at me and saying, "Oh, that's bad. You know, it's comparison." But I'm like, how can you meet comparison with kindness? And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm feeling now. I know it's not great. It's bad. You would label it bad.
It's authentic.
Yeah, but at least you're honest with yourself.
Uncomfortable, super uncomfortable, because you're like, oh, I should be the grown up, and you know, it's a bit of my expert side, but this is
I should be more evolved than this. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But no, it's it's happening, and it's so heartbreaking as well if you start bypassing yourself, that you're feeling that thing. So that has been a big theme. How do we get over that comparison thing?
Yeah.
Aside actually speaking about it very openly, and then seeing probably that each of us have different talents and aspects, and there's no threat actually. So it's either dismantling the threat or understanding that there's an aspect of you that wants to discover a new gift.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where I'm like, that's been my journey in the past days.
Processing and uncovering all of this from within, I think, is where most of us are at right now, is trying to understand why we have the underlying feelings and triggers that we have. And it's all rooted in past life or inner child stuff.
Right. Well, in the comparative nature thing, it's been pushed on women for millennia, right? Like ever since the patriarchy took over, it was like, okay, no, you guys fight.
And remember the story about the golden apple in Greek mythology? Do you remember when somebody showed up and said, here's a golden apple, this goes to the most beautiful goddess in all of Olympia? And they just tossed it into the room, and all the ladies were like, oh, that's mine. Clearly that's mine. Like but that's the kind of thing, like people are still lobbing golden apples into the room to pit us against each other, and we need to recognize that.
And it's happening every day. You go on social media.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and before social media, it was in the magazines, and before the magazines, it was in, it was just a part of the culture and society, and the class system. It just goes back and back. It just changes form, and it's always just put back into our faces. You're not supposed to look like this. You're not supposed to have that coloring. You're not supposed to have those blemishes. Your hair is supposed to look this way and that way and this way and that way. But if we can actually just truly love ourselves as we are and love each other as we are, then we can, shine in our own way. Our beauty can shine forth once we stop competing.
Yes. And I think for me, it's competing going to collaborating, because if actually you give a hand to a person that you think, okay, this maybe there's competition here, then it's like, how can we work together actually? Because then that heals the bridge. I mean, you can't do that with everybody, but I think, that could be a good step, or even speak about it, like what the trigger that you generate, in the self. Because then that person might see you in a different angle and say, oh my gosh, I had no idea that was going on. And this is the beauty I see in you. And this is the talent I see in you. And
yeah.
So somebody who's working to heal this divine feminine aspect, any ideas on how we can get started when we're healing this within ourselves? I imagine self-love is at the core of everything. So to focus on self-love and acceptance for who we are is a big part of it.
And communication with being able to speak about it, because there's a lot of things that we feel ashamed, like that type of, pattern. And we don't feel, it's safe to speak about it and say, this is still something that I'm experiencing, and having that compassion, that kindness for yourself, and create the space for the other person to express it as well. I think that would be my 2 advice. I don't know, Erin, yeah, ideas?
Angelique, while you were speaking, I just had this like, slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. The divine feminine is not in action. She's in slowing down. She's in the circle. So if you are desiring to connect more to your divine feminine, let's say, and men, you can do this as well, but especially for the women, put on a skirt, put on a dress.
I did this while I ate mushrooms the other night. I put on a fancy dress and danced around the house.
Yeah, that's a great way to connect to your divine feminine. The circle represents the yoni. It represents the woman. And when you put on a skirt, you are honoring you as a circle.
Yeah.
Right? And when you also, there's also that energetic of there's nothing separating your legs. There's also beauty in that divine feminine presence of who you are, sacred underneath that skirt. That's all one, right? That's where, when women come to me and say, how do I connect with my divine? I said, you need to look at your wardrobe and see how you are lowering your frequency with unnatural fibers, and how you are masculinizing yourself with the clothes that you wear. And men can wear kilts and still be masculine. This is the amazing thing.
I think they can be extra masculine. I'm just saying.
They become more masculine because everything's just, right there.
It depends, because one of the things that I've been doing is looking on Instagram at high heels dances. And I'm like, ooh, I can't walk with high heels, only in my house.
You walk like a newborn deer in heels.
I'm starting because I don't have to walk big distance and up and downs. That wouldn't be very great for where I live. But it's like that thing where you put a sensual music, and then you put those high heels, and yes, you can have like a cat suit or something like that. So for me, I agree with what you said about the skirt, but that was just, maybe I could put something like that, because I will find myself, sensual and sexy in a different outfit, and just play with that energy a bit more.
You are so French, Angelique.
I know, right?
I need a cat suit. Meow.
I need tight leather all over my whole body.
Exactly.
It works,
It's okay. I went on Amazon, and it's not here that you have massive shops where you can find that. So Amazon is a great, provider here. And I find 1 or 2 things that were absolutely delicious, and I'm like, I want to feel that juiciness inside me.
Yes,
I love
because
it.
Because
then it means I'm a bit more sensual with life. I'm a bit more flirty with life. I'm a bit more dominatrix with life, but in a delicious way.
You're grabbing life by the horns. You're giving life a smack on the bum.
I have a beautiful purple kitchen, like pot thing. It's pretty nice.
I think that is in a way of healing the divine feminine too, because how many of us didn't even get to enjoy sex for how long? They didn't give a shit. They didn't even know that we're supposed to enjoy it. They're just like, oh wait, you're supposed to enjoy this too? Like, yes, that was the plan all along. So there's a lot that we're healing in regards to just understanding what it even means to be a woman right now, because we haven't even had freedom for 100 years.
Right.
Yes. What does it mean to be a woman now?
Yeah, because that's changing every 5 minutes.
Yeah. And it has different facets.
Well, and going back to what we were talking about before of like, what do we do with this energy? When we're afraid of something, we try and cancel it, right? Like we try to just be like, that's the new persecution, is like cancel that person because they're speaking their truth, whether it's right or wrong. And that there is even this pattern, I think, that people are beginning to silence themselves because they're afraid of being canceled, right? And they don't speak their. I'm a loudmouth on my personal, Facebook page, and I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I don't hold back. And I have people who message me privately and thank me for speaking up because they can't ever do that. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't ever do that? Like, what if it comes down to it, like you actually have to say something, So there's this presence of being within ourselves that even feels like, oh, this is actually divine feminine rage that is speaking, right? And so then there's that other part of the feminine, of the mother who holds all of this, who has to hold the collective consciousness, who has to hold everybody's trauma and try not to embody it, but just be present with it, and not go crazy. Right? Yeah, so how much divine feminine do you actually want to tap into, Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of layers here we're talking about.
Totally.
So we work on the upper layer and then we work our way down as we go.
We're just one step at a time.
And we're not just talking about women, by the way, because as RJ put it, yes, there are men who have feminine aspects and need healing because they were abused women in past lives.
Yes. And I've seen that in the Tantra training where there was half men, and half women. And when we were doing the body work, it's like, a lot of them were like, wow, it healed so much my wound, with the feminine and within themselves, and even trusting themselves, that anima that the men have, the white one, the intuitive one, that they don't connect to or don't allow to, because as a man you have a lot of more the structure and control and direction and fire to go forward.
But they bottle up their emotions more than we do, which is
bottle up the emotion and not allowing the voice of the heart. And actually, and that's why, when we were saying, awakening the divine feminine, I'm like, well, we need to speak about the men too, because the way we're creating forward is through the heart field. And so, it's moving from solar plexus to the heart field. And if the man cannot, hold and express the emotions as well, and, not totally collapsing, but allowing to, at least make them present and known, or what does it take for a man to be more present in his heart? I think
usually another man showing them how to do it, or they lead by example. So a man who's very in touch with his emotions is helping other men around him to be more
exactly
emotions, because it creates a safe space where they're like, he looks pretty manly. He's talking about his emotions, and yet he looks manly to me. So maybe if I do that too, I'll still look manly to somebody else.
I could see some of the breakers. The greatest breakthrough of that weekend was when men have been working with men, and none of them were expecting to, because they were pretty manly. And none of them were expecting what unfolded. And particularly when we were doing the whole massage of the belly, up to the heart. So it's like the diamond from the pelvis on the side up to the heart. And it was so much coming out that they were, and even one guy was a kinesiologist. So he's used to work, with men and, in his practice. But the depth of the emotion that were coming in that context, even for himself and healing the lineage of the man, through that, his own lineages, was big. And the thing is, because we are moving with the heart, women had to maybe come a bit more first, and it's a bit easier for women because it's more accepted for women to be emotional than for men. But now this is where the creation is coming from. So we'll have to be at least just of support, not telling them how to do, but being next to them when they move.
What's interesting too? This case just popped into my head 2 days ago or a few days ago. I had a client that came and I did a clearing on her, and she had a ancestral curse on the family that was affecting all the children in the family. It's a huge, like a black tree that comes down. You know what I mean? When you have an ancestral curse, because it goes through all the thing. So I asked where it came from, and we went to the root of it. 400 years ago, one of her ancestors raped somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
400 years ago, and every single person in their dynasty, in their family tree since that time has been cursed because of one ancestor, one deed by one ancestor. And it was women that healed it. It was the women in the family that came forward and said, I need this clearing. How can we heal this? And sure enough, we cleared it and released it. And we chopped down that whole black tree, so to speak, that whole dark tree.
Yeah.
And cleared it for the whole bloodline. But 400 years of suffering. And most of the people that suffered in that family, ironically, were women because of one thing that happened so much. I mean, that is a powerful thing that we carry that we don't even understand. And there's so much of that happening right now. Humanity is calling for this stuff to be healed and released. And I hate to say it, but women are the ones that are coming forward the most and calling for this to be healed in the family lines.
Yeah.
And that inner strength that comes from that female, I feel like there's like this matriarchal love coming through on all sorts of different levels. And when I went to visit a grave site for my great-great-grandmother and a few others that were there, I could feel my whole like feminine side of my family like celebrating. Like they were so excited and thrilled about how much was being healed now, because when you just heal yourself, you're not just healing yourself, you're healing backwards in your bloodline. You're doing work for your ancestors, and they're watching and they're overjoyed because this is something that in many cases they weren't strong enough to heal themselves. They tried and they failed. And you were like, I got this. Send me in, coach. I got it. And you did. You cleared it. And a lot of you have been doing very hard work that your ancestors have been working on for hundreds and hundreds of years, some of which even thousands of years. We found dark contracts that go all the way back to Atlantis that are coming up to be healed right now. And that is, I mean, that's astronomical. You guys should be so proud of every little bit that you guys are doing to heal yourselves, because you're not just healing yourself, you're healing. It's like a golden web that spreads out, you know?
There's definitely a culmination happening on the planet right now of humanity knowing it's time to heal these ancient wounds, you know, and people are being brave enough, you know, to do that.
And one of the other, maybe a little caveat I want to add to that, which I observed, and I've been observing in a few other circumstances, is when we do that type of work, it's very important to see what the external field is reflecting back at us, because sometimes we're in a loop and sometimes we have healed the wound and then we'll recreate the wound. And so it becomes an infinity bloody loop about creating the wound and healing it and creating it and healing it. And I've been doing it with trying to heal my inner masculine. And actually, when I was like, okay, what's going on now? Like for me to get a partner, and it was in a transition, and it was like, you've been unconsciously recreating and recoding at source level again the wound every time you do the work. And so that's why, and I said, but how do you get out of the loop then? And this is why, you know, the piece of the sensuality that came, that felt good to me, was the path out of the loop once you've been healing the, you know, the biggest things in your life was okay. So then how can that be fun for you instead of just going in the loop? So it's a very intricate thing about, it's like when you do 80% of the shadow work, then the last bit it's another subject that will come and replace a big chunk, but on another subject to make, to free it and lift it. So in this case, it's been me dancing with high heels in
your cat suit.
I love as you're explaining this that we can hear the bells from the Mary Magdalene Church going off behind you.
Yes, and it's 12 p.m. So it's like massive.
Magdalena agrees.
Is it something that you've been observing, Lara, in your work with curses and things like that? Like when you do a clearing with one person and then you're like, oh, but we thought that thing was already, healed.
It comes back if it's not fully healed.
Yeah, it comes back.
It will resurface again and again until you heal it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because I'll do a full clearing on somebody and I won't see any resonances, won't see any past life trauma. And then they'll be like 3 weeks later, they'll be like, look, I don't know what's happened, but after my clearing, I felt great for a few days. And now all of a sudden I feel like there's some weird stuff happening. So can you do a recheck on me? I'll go back in. And then I'll see all the layers that have come up, the curses, the spells, the past life trauma. And I'm like, where was all this shit 3 weeks ago when I did a clearing? And the guide said they weren't ready to release it until you got that clearing. And now they're in a better position to be able to handle it. They wouldn't have been able to handle all this shit coming up before. But now that you released all that first layer, now it's an opportunity for that inner layer to come up. And that's what's happening. And sometimes it can feel like you're going through an existential crisis when you don't even know what you're feeling. I mean, on Sunday, that's what I was going through. And I think it's because of that trip I took on Saturday, where on Sunday, I had all of these emotions and I had no idea where they were from, why I had them, where, what to do with them. I didn't even know how to unpack them because I didn't know what I was feeling. There were so many. It was like emotions stacked upon emotions. It reminds me of Bradley's gummy bear bag of all they're all melted together because that's how my emotions were. Everything was all overlapping. And it took me the whole day to really suss out what I was feeling and why. And then I realized it was just my own self-doubt, my own criticisms, and my own imposter syndrome getting in the way of me fully releasing. And so once I realized that, and I did what we call a burn and release ceremony. Do you guys know those? So a burn and release, like you write a letter or you just write down the things that you want to release and you meditate on that and then you send love and then you can burn the letter or bury it or whatever it is that you want to release it. And it helped. And I woke up Monday feeling like a new person and all of that shitty feeling was gone.
Good for you.
So that's what they say. Lean into it. Don't avoid the emotions. If you to write or to listen to music or to watch a movie that always gets you emotionally going, but if you start stirring things up, it helps.
I watched a good one on Netflix. When was it? 2 days ago or yesterday? It's what is it? K-pop demons.
Oh, you watched the K-pop Demon Hunters? I love that movie.
And because what I liked into it is because there was one of that character who was having actually both, and they were all positive and the thing couldn't work until she was accepting her dark side.
That song, This Is What It Sounds Like, I had head to toe chills. Like I was crying the first time I heard that song. It got me all emotional. It's the song where she comes out and was like, she embraces her shadow side and really just stands in her power. And it was, I mean, if you haven't watched K-pop and the Demon Hunters yet, it's really good, actually. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was.
Yes. Well, I thought the end would be a bit more happy ending.
I like it. Happy endings. Don't get me wrong. Like I like happy endings, but they just don't seem as realistic as real life.
Yes, it's true.
Happy ending. Nothing really truly ends.
Yes.
So I don't know. I just like the open-endedness of things like that.
Yes, we don't know what's gonna happen after. know if there's a part number 2.
I love you both. This has been a really fun conversation today.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we can hang out in person again. Erin, are we doing another retreat to France this year?
Well, France is happening every year from here into eternity. France is definitely happening every year. I feel, I mean, as my energy has been like, pulling into this, I'm being called into more priestessing, even to where I was a last minute replacement to lead a mother's blessing way on Sunday because my friend was sick. And so she called me and she's like, I need you to run the blessing way. I'm like, okay, yes, priestess time. I love it. And being put in that position, and then other women were like, I need you to come and bless me and my women in my life too, and I need you, and it's like, okay, all right, I see what you're doing here, okay, and just like, okay, Mary has been just guiding me to more and more focus on ceremony and the divine moment. And really being, we were talking about just being really honest with your emotions and letting them flow through you. And I love being able to be in a sacred space, no matter what is happening, and creating that randomly, even for strangers, and showing them that we can drop in and connect, and whether it's all women like it was on Sunday, or if it's everyone, that we can all really just breathe together. Like, let's remember how to just be present and breathe together, where everybody's in a hurry and there's so much happening in our world that wants to steal us from ourselves.
And distract us.
Absolutely. But that's the thing, is like the distraction is literally causing us to abandon ourselves, and like abandon purpose of, like, and that's a huge piece of my work. I have found in these last few years that the Sophias, the Marys, come to me because they've been under attack, or they've had handlers in their life, or they've had one big distraction that is keeping them from their purpose, right? And then they land in my lap, and we could just take all of that bullshit off, so that they're like, oh, look, here I am, I can do the thing now, Yeah. And with the men too, I'm talking about the men with the divine feminine. The men have been coming forward, and I do many mentorships with men and helping them to develop a relationship with their feminine side. And what was that, your guide coming forward, Laura?
You read my mind. Get out of here. Fergus gave me a tickle right as you said that.
I know, I can feel it. I heard it.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's true. Like, even for my groups of, in France now, they're like more men asking as well. So there's groups that only, women only, and actually mine's, I don't do women only now. It's more like, both. If there's both, they come. And yes, but I feel even in the land here, there will be more, because we're speaking about divine union here. So I would love if some men are listening to us, come. Everything here is very, waiting for you to come. At least you get to get that hot, wild, hot energy. So just putting that out here. And for me, I'm going to do one on the Black Madonna. So I'm doing Black Madonna, 10 days. It's going to be a small group, like 7, 8 people.
So let me ask you, many attribute the Black Madonna to Sarah LaCalle. Do you? Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Sarah LaCalle would be, an aspect of it. Black Madonna is...
kind of like how Magdalena is an aspect of Sophia in a way?
Yeah, some sort of, yes. For me, the Black Madonna, we go back to primordial energy.
Right.
That would be
Exactly.
the core feminine energy from which everything get birth.
Right.
So, and they're like big, they're very big in south of France, Spain, a bit of Italy, I think so. And I think I heard about a few sites in South America.
I feel like Ani would be a good person to talk about with this as well. Ani probably.
We could do one on the Black Madonna theme with Ani.
That'd be fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know we're gonna do a group with Ani next year. So I'm just, tuning with her and see what she would be most happy to do, because she doesn't do any more, groups aside of punctual thing, in Rennes-les-Bains or
we were so blessed to have Ani with us for
our first day.
I know, it was wonderful.
What a treat. What a treat. And you, Angelique, just picking up the harp and just running with it. I am so impressed. And you're living the dream. Like, I'm always on the lookout for a harp because I want one so bad. I want to have that exact experience.
Yes, that, I'm still working with it. I can't, Anya has been very kind with me. She's like, come and play, and, putting things out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm barely beginner level in that thing.
Of course, I left it in the other room. I've been practicing with a harp, but it's the one that Galis Duncan played. Galis plays a mouth harp. You ever seen a mouth harp?
Oh, mouth harp. Oh, interesting.
So I bought a mouth harp.
Different
Galis is going to teach me how to use it. She's been kind of like, hey, let's practice. I'm scared I'm going to break my teeth with it, though. It's a very it's a mouth harp. It's really cool.
So I'm not at the level of Annie, like creating a song and then like playing a tune and then creating a song from it. I am not at that level, but apparently she had visions. I would be doing plenty of that.
Well, I would trust on these visions for sure.
All over the world and doing things in the US. So I'm like, well, okay, well, let's see
just go with it. Just go with it. Yes.
I'm just going with it. I'm practicing my scales, it's just like on chords and
yes, good.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
We'll definitely stay in touch and make some plans, ladies. Yeah? Looking forward to it.
Sounds great.
Yes. Oh, that was a good
one. So I'm going to share Angelique's website and Erin's. So Angelique, you also have sessions you do online, yes?
Yes, I do. Well, in the winter, mostly sessions online because, there's still some people who come in Rennes-le-Château in the area in the winter, which is very interesting because the energy is so much more organic, actually.
I spent Christmas in Rennes-le-Château with Gerda one year, and being in Rennes-le-Château for Christmas was probably one of the most beautiful experiences.
Yes,
gorgeous.
Yes, I do quite a lot of sessions online for the fertility, but for personal transformation as well. I'm not expert like you about, curses and things like that. It's not my area of expertise. But I'm more like in bringing new energy to transforms life, like that big creative energy when people start to explain to me, okay, where do you want to go? And then we're like, okay, let's go and bring the different type of fractal energy to create it and make it happen in their life. I think this is the best way I can describe it.
Make it happen.
Yes.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for this conversation today. It was so wonderful. My heart feels full hanging out with you guys this morning. So thank you for this.
Very uplifting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you to everybody else who also joined us for the conversation today. We have Angelina. We had Angelique today, and we've got Angelique is coming out. Sorry, we've got Siddhartha is coming on the podcast tomorrow.
Angelica,
my brain. More coffee. Too many Angelicas and
Angelique and Angelica.
Angelica coming tomorrow. So thank you guys very much for everything. We're so grateful to have you with us every day. We love you guys very much.
Oh, blessings.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bonsoir, Angelique. Bye.